Friends, I have exciting news to tell all of you about this morning. A few more U.S. states have just announced brand new plans that will provide some extra financial help to low-income households during this winter. There are over 5 new batches of stimulus checks that are set to go out to many Americans. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video to hear about all of these details. Also, to say thank you for being part of this community. I will be giving away a $50 Walmart gift card every day this month. If you would like to enter these daily giveaways, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My friends, the more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these daily giveaways.
I would ask the President, I would ask anybody listening to these floor speeches today, do you know how much the federal government spent last year? I've been asking that question of my colleagues. I've been asking that question of journalists here in Washington, D.C., people who report on the dealings on the floor. And the vast majority cannot answer that question. So the question you all ought to be asking yourselves is, why can't you answer that question? It's not your fault. The reason nobody knows how much the federal government spent in total last year, virtually no one knows it, is we never talk about it. We are the largest financial entity in the world. And we never talk about how much we spend in total. We talk about little bits and pieces. We talk about $6 billion here, $76 billion there. No doubt necessary funding for top priorities. But we don't spend the time talking about how we're mortgaging our children's future. I've got a couple charts I'd like to display. This first chart shows over 20 years of spending history, going back to the year 2002, when the federal government spent in total a little more than $2 trillion. If we would have just increased spending from that point by population growth and the rate of inflation, last year we would have spent a little under $3.8 trillion. If you go to the year 2008, when we spent just under $3 trillion, and once again just grew spending by population and inflation, last year we would have spent $4.4 trillion. If you go back to 2016, when we were spending $3.8 trillion, under $4 trillion, and grew that by just the rate of growth in the population, rate of inflation, last year we would have spent about $4.8 trillion. Instead, last year we spent $6.3 trillion. Now, I realize, and you can see on this chart, the last 3 years, spending was heavily impacted by COVID relief, close to $6 trillion worth. But in 2019, before the COVID pandemic, we spent about $4.4 trillion. I have another chart I'd like to put up here to puts this all in perspective.
As inflation continues to impact the United States, many new proposals are finally being signed into law. Anyone living in these 6 states may be receiving some extra pocket cash sometime next year. Many of these payments are part of programs that started in 2022, but will not fully wrap up until 2023. And certain requirements will have to be met to receive these payments, such as filing one's taxes on time. And some of these benefits may not be delivered to recipients until May 2023. New Jersey homeowners are set to receive some extra cash soon. The amount that the New Jersey homeowners receive will depend on how much money they make, with those making less than $150,000 a year receiving $1,500, and for those earning somewhere between $150,000 to $250,000 will receive $1,000. Renters will also be receiving a rebate. though they will need to be making less than $150,000 annually and will only receive a rebate of $450. Roughly 2 million residents will qualify for these rebates, which are scheduled to be paid to recipients by May 2023. The Golden State's payments has already been provided to many Californians. The final waves of direct deposits and state-issued debit cards are set to be sent out by the end of January. Many residents of Colorado have already received their payments, though anyone who filed an extension will have their payment delivered to them by January 31st in the new year. The payment will be worth either $750 for single filers or $1,500 for joint filers. In states like Idaho, South Carolina, and Pennsylvania, they have also agreed to provide inflation relief payments to help their residents that are experiencing financial hardships caused by the crisis. Friends, the key word for this video is mince pie. If you would like to enter today's Walmart gift card giveaway, please make sure that you click and like several of my videos and then comment below this keyword, which is mince pie, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you're also subscribed to my channel. As rising prices continue to weigh on many households, more families are feeling stretched too thin. According to a monthly data report by Lending Club, as of November, 63% of Americans were living paycheck to paycheck. That is up from 60% the previous month and near the 64% historic high that hit in March of this year. Lending Club found that even high-income earners are under great pressure. Of those earning more than six figures, 47% reported living paycheck to paycheck. That is a jump from the previous month of 43%. Although consumer prices rose less than expected in November, persistent inflation has caused real wages to decline. According to the latest reading from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, real average hourly earnings are down 1.9% from 1 year earlier. This leaves millions of Americans in a bind as inflation and higher prices force more people to dip into their cash reserves or lean on credit cards just when interest rates rise at the fastest pace in many decades. Already, credit card balances are surging, up 15% in the most recent quarter. That is the largest annual jump in more than 20 years. At the same time, credit card rates are now more than 19% on average. That is also an all-time high and is still rising. Compared with 1 year ago, 32% of all consumers are saving less than they were before. Among those who said they are struggling financially, half are unable to save and have no savings at all. A separate survey found that 1/3 of working adults feel somewhat or very uncomfortable about their ability to pay an emergency $400 expense. The most recent data shows that inflation has been slowing for 5 straight months and is down from this year's peak of 9.1% in June. Energy prices in particular are down. It is cheaper to buy gas today than it was 1 year ago. The Federal Reserve announced it would hike interest rates another 0.5 percentage point, and that would not consider inflation to be tamed until it falls to a sustained 2% in a different index, which is a personal consumption expenditures. That means the Fed is still rooting for somewhat higher unemployment rates and slowing the economy. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has made it clear that more interest rate hikes are on the way in 2023, and he further predicted that there would be no rate cuts next year. So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know if you're worried about a recession or not. Well, my awesome and dearest best friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this morning. Thank you, my friends, for joining me here every day and watching these new videos I post. And to say thank you, I will be giving away a Walmart gift card every day this month. Please make sure you enter the giveaways, friends. All you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, the greater your chances of winning these daily giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and blessed Friday.